Hi friends. So I have a health update that I was going back and forth on sharing to our social media, but I've been very open about sharing our entire Catholic journey thus far, and I feel like this is something that needs to be added to our story. So I'm making this video because one, I desperately need your prayers. Two, I want to share my experience from praying just one rosary recently. And three, I have some great news about my St. Jude miracle. So I'd love for you to stick around for that. So for anyone who doesn't know my story, I did have a back injury from the Army, and I experienced flare-ups every 4 to 6 months that were severely painful and completely disabled me from walking when I was having them. In early 2024, during a flare-up, I was healed by Jesus through the intercession of St. Jude, which led to our conversion to the Catholic faith. Since then, I've had no back flare-ups whatsoever, and my back pain has been very minimal. I was pretty much back to our normal life. Well, a few months ago, my dogs took off running after another dog. They had never done anything like this before, and it was just so wild. I instinctively ran after them. Now, I have a poodle and I have a lab, and they went running after a pit bull, really. Luckily, they stopped right in front of the dog and they ran back inside as soon as I told them to. So the dogs are okay. But I went back inside and I immediately knew that something felt wrong with my back. The following weeks, I began having radiating pain and tingling all the way down the right side of my leg, and then it started falling asleep. But I honestly didn't think anything severe was wrong because I didn't have a flare-up. AKA, I could walk. And the pain was handleable in comparison to the flare-ups that I used to have. I had never experienced radiating pain or tingling or anything like that before, so I honestly thought that I had just developed sciatica or something. I was going to the chiropractor and the massage therapist regularly, and I figured that I'd eventually just get some relief. It would just completely go away. Meanwhile, I reached out to my doctor at the VA and I told her that I know that I have a history of back pain, but this is different. And I'd like to know what her opinion was on what to do next. Well, if you know anything about VA healthcare, you know that nothing happens quickly. But I eventually got on medication and I got a MRI referral. Now, please know that I'm not complaining about my doctor. I really like her and I'm grateful for my VA healthcare. I'm just saying that it's very, very slow. So I got the MRI done, and after it was over, the radiologist came out immediately and said, I know that I'm not supposed to give you any advice or say anything, but I'm just gonna recommend you not do any physical activity until you see a surgeon. That could have been one of the scariest things someone has said to me. One, I know that it's very uncommon for a radiologist to come out and talk to you about your results. I don't even think they read them until later on. Two, I shouldn't do anything. I told him that I have a 1 and a 3-year-old, and he basically said, try to avoid picking them up. Are you kidding me? Like, how am I supposed to do that? But although I did believe what he said, I had a hard time wrapping my head around all of this because the pain was nowhere near what it used to be. Plus, I could walk. So I just did not understand what was going on. Well, 2 days passed after the MRI, and I was getting ready one morning, and I had been standing up and holding my kids already for a very long time. And at that point, I was in a lot of pain. And I began asking Padre to pray for me. I was reminded of the blind girl that was miraculously cured after he prayed for her. She can still see to this day, and she doesn't have pupils. It's a medical mystery. I guess a medical miracle. I began praying very, very hard. The radiologist had scared me, and I had so many questions. Of course, I was nonstop praying over this, but this was the first time I began to beg Jesus to help with this and ask Padre Pio to pray for me. Also, I felt the need to put this rosary ring on. It's got a relic of Padre Pio on it, so put that on. And no joke, within 30 minutes, I got a phone call from the VA from neurosurgery. And let me remind you, this is the VA. Nothing happens fast. I was shocked, and I immediately thanked Padre Pio for his intercession and Jesus for working so quickly. So I ended up being referred to a civilian outside of the VA. And when I went to see him, I was told that my L4 and L5 was completely bone on bone, and I would have to get surgery as soon as possible. And he also recommended that I should not move much until after surgery due to possible further damage. I was shocked. But right after my appointment, a friend gave me some pretty concerning news about this entire surgical scenario. I felt like I was in a tunnel all day trying to figure out if I should proceed with this surgery or not. So I reached out to as many medical people that I knew to get their input. By like 7 p.m., I came to realize that I just needed to go to sleep and just start over the next day. So I laid in bed and I prayed a rosary, and I told Jesus that I don't mean to be pushy or demanding, but I really needed him to give me a clear, straightforward answer, and I needed it by tomorrow morning. I hated doing that, but this was one of the biggest decisions that I had to make, and I was limited in time. I mean, this is major surgery. God knows our hearts, and I did apologize, but I woke up the next morning and I had my normal prayer with my family, and then I got a text message that morning from a chiropractor friend with the exact answer that I needed. It was literally like God had written the text message himself. So that being said, I do have surgery in a few weeks, and I really need your prayers. Prayers for my healing, prayers for the surgeon, prayers for the medical team, prayers for recovery, prayers for my children, prayers for my husband and my family. I just need prayer, please. And as for my previous back healing, well, I officially have an MRI showing that my back, in fact, was healed by the intercession of St. Jude last year. I used to have bulging and desiccation throughout my entire L spine, but per my neurosurgeon, the rest of my back looks very healthy and is in great shape. So I'm very grateful for that, and it even gives me some peace about this entire procedure. So I don't know why this happened, but I truly am just giving my healing to Jesus. It's in his hands, and I've experienced healing, answered prayers, and the grace of smelling roses at the shrine of St. Rita. So I know this is all in God's plan. So please pray for me, and I will keep you updated as things move along. God bless you all.